tackle to tackle. The keeper of the official clock is Mr. Jim Palantonio, our field judge. You're entitled to 3 timeouts, as you know. If you want to call one, yell out loud and clear. And if there's anything that we do during the game that you don't quite understand regarding an infraction, I'll take my timeout to explain it to you, okay? Okay, we're ready to go. Who will call a coin toss for Irvington, okay? Call a head or a tail, and I'm going to let it fall. He calls a head. It's a tail. You've won the toss, and you want to receive, okay? Eastchester has won the toss and will receive. What goal do you wish to defend? Okay, please line up that way while I give the signals, and then we'll play immediately. Okay, have a good game, fellas.
So Eastchester has the football first, as you just heard from Cliff Akins and his crew. He is the head referee, and they'll be doing the job on the field today between Eastchester and Irvington. And what a beautiful day for football we have. Temperatures are, they just hit 80 degrees. And it is a summer type day. Is a little bit windy though, so it could have an effect on any sort of punting game. And the skies are clear. We expect more of the same, and the field is in excellent playing condition. The last time the Bulldogs and the Eagles met was right here at the Jarvis Bowl, 1989. The Eagles won that contest, and that was a year where Irvington was a little bit down. Bill Dyer was not the coach, but Ray, he's certainly the coach today, and in his 12th season, looking for win number 2 of this year.
Yeah, Bill Dyer's at Irvington. This is his 12th year as a head coach, and his career record is 61 wins, 36 losses, and 1 tie. And we can't forget about his bowl victories in '79 when he had a record of 9-1, and the bowl victory was against Dobbs Ferry, and his great undefeated season in 1986 where they beat Pauling in a bowl game. And that's where they had Conklin at quarterback, who was very, very good at that position, went on to Trinity and did a fantastic job as a defensive back there.
Irvington will kick first. John Bergman will be the kicker for Coach Bill Dyer. He is number 12. He does not start an offense, though he is a starting linebacker, and he does the kicking for the Bulldogs. Back for the Eagles, Elton Lee is the deep man, and Ray, he's the fastest guy in the Eagles.
Well, he's the quickest man for the Eagles. He can really motor. He has that speed, that 1-2 steps where he's very quick, and he's very elusive. He has those shake and bake moves, and if there is an opening, you know, you can watch for him to go all the way. During the spring, he's on a track team, and he runs that 100-meter dash.
And there he is in the left part of the screen, about his 7-yard line. Also back, Mike Palmiotto and John Patone at the 15. And the kick goes to Palmiotto, takes it at his 10-yard line. And good blocking, gets to the 30. He's to the sideline, wrong to beat him. And Bianchini done. What a start to the football game. And Ray, this is how you return a kick. Mike Palmiotto.
Well, what you see, it's a wedge. It's right up the middle. Palmiotto's a senior, a 3-year starter, co-captain of the team. Look at this. He goes to the outside. He sees the opening, and now it becomes a foot race. Now, right there, the angle of pursuit has to be taken. Right here, he thinks he has a touchdown. He just has to go a couple of more yards. There's a beautiful tackle right there, a touchdown-saving tackle.
72 yards on the return. Eastchester is in business from the Irvington 18.
And speaking to Coach John DiArco during the week, he said Mike Palmiotto, in quotes, he's one of the best all-around players I've ever coached. End of quotes.
QB for the Eagles, Todd Montesano. And he is a lefty and will get underway. Palmiotto after that big run in the backfield, but it goes to Lee, and he bursts ahead for 3 on first down, so it'll be second down. We mentioned Todd Montesano. There he is. Didn't complete a pass at all in the win against Byram Hills, but what a power running game they have. He threw for over 350 passing last season, however. And Ray, we've already seen some of their backs. Palmiotto on that beautiful 72-yard run, and that was Elton Lee, the tailback, carrying for 3.
Well, Palmiotto was injured at Byram Hills game. His shoulder, he had tore tissue. They had 2 weeks off. He recovered well, but it is still a little sore.
He goes outside this time, breaks a tackle, and breaks another tackle. Great second effort for Elton Lee. Look at the rest of the Eagles offense. We mentioned Palmiato and Lee. Lee had over 100 yards last week. Will Ackerson is the split end. Sarasi and Cinquemani, the other receivers. The offensive line for Coach John DiArco, and they are experienced. 2 3-year starters in Iasola and Hunt, and what a good offensive line, maybe the strength of that team.
Well, they have strength also physically because they've been lifting weights during a phys ed class and after school, also during the summer.
On first down, Palmiato gets a couple. It'll be second down and goal from the 4. The Irvington defense, they play a 4-4. Justin McLaughlin anchors a strong front 4. Very aggressive defense. And then their linebackers, Chuck Conklin, as we mentioned, the strength of the linebackers, and Billy Mentakidis, who's also the quarterback, is back there at safety, and he does everything, the leader of the Irvington team offensively and defensively. Eastchester coming out on fire. Lee with 2 good runs after the Palmiato return. Second and goal, ball on the 4. Montesano calls the signals, and it's a Lee handoff. And it fooled everyone but Irvington, as Lee actually is thrown for a loss of a yard. So that was a big play right there for Irvington.
It was great pursuit by the Irvington defense. They really came across. That's where I think they beat the offensive line right there. They really shut down the outside perimeter and coming up, so that's really a key play. They really have to be strong here and now. This is a goal line defense. It's a 6-5. You have to be low on that line, fire out, close all the gaps, and really, if it's anything to the outside or pass play, those outside linebackers, defensive backs, they really have to pursue quickly.
Opening drive, first quarter, big play, third and goal. Palmiato, and he gets maybe a yard, and he is tackled by Mentakidis all the way up from his safety slot. And Irvington, give them a lot of credit. Their defense has hold. Eastchester's going to talk it over right here and call a timeout. It's 4th down, and already a big situation in this game. What momentum, Ray? Eastchester with the Palmiato kickoff and then a couple of nice Elton Lee runs, and they first and goal, but Irvington did not give in, and they made 3 nice defensive plays, and now it's a 4th down from the 4. Do you kick 3 if you can, or do you go ahead and go for it?
Well, right now you have to give a lot of credit to Irvington's defense. They really came across. They got tough when they had to get tough. Now this is the decision that it has to be made, whether to go for a field goal or go for the 6 points.
This is a 3rd down play.
Now here's the line firing out. You can see right there that number. Can't make out who made that tackle, but 66.
And that is Stephen Diastis, and we mentioned
good play by him playing defensive end. What he did, he came down and he closed off that off-tackle play. That was a blast play to the right by Eastchester. Did a tremendous job coming down and closing it off.
Diastis, a 6-foot senior, plays defensive end, as we mentioned, also the offensive tackle. So the Eagles have it, and it looks like they are going to go for it here. Of course, a field goal is certainly not a lock.
Well, right here, you see Eastchester's been running now. Maybe a little play action right here can catch him off guard.
More Piccanini is in there. It goes to Lee, and does he get in? Very close, touchdown.
You can see what Eastchester did. They went to the left side. That's Anthony Iasola, left tackle. Nick Dentato, that left guard. They did a good job. They're strong. They're powerful. Iasola's a 3-year starter. He's hungry. He's the biggest, quickest, strongest lineman. He's very agile. He's also on a basketball team. May attend St. John's University. But Eastchester scoring there, going to that left side.
On the extra point attempt, Doug Sarasi kicks it up and good. And you sort of get the idea he may have made the field goal because that would have been the same distance. And Eastchester is on the board first with a gutsy 4th down call by Coach John DiArco. And they lead it by a score of 7-0.
Well, they really went to their power side. That left side, you have Will Ackerson. He's on that left side. He's a senior, 6'3", 180. Coming again on that left side, Anthony Iasola, left tackle. You can see right here, you have the blocks leading. It's a blast play. You have the fullback, Mike Palmiato, leading. Halfback, Elton Lee following right behind. See, very close right here. All that ball has to do is cross that goal line, and it's a touchdown.
And that was very close. Just made it on the line. Not by too much, otherwise Irvington would have taken over and down. So it's 7-0. The Eagles strike first. They only scored 14 points all last week, first game rather against Byram Hills. And Coach DiArco's got to be happy about getting the early 7.
And Coach DiArco, this is his 9th year head coach at Eastchester. Last year, 3-5. His career record is 35 wins, 35 losses, and 1 tie. 88. Great year for Eastchester. They went to the bowl game, beat Pleasantville in overtime. And on that team was Mickey Morgan. And Mickey Morgan today is the starting linebacker for Iona College.
Jeff Moldari, who's the backup quarterback for Eastchester, also does their kicking off. He's just a sophomore. And there's a penalty flag, our first of the day. And it appears that the officials thought that there was too many men in the field, but in fact they recounted and it was 11.
There's no foul. Okay.
An honest mistake.
So they'll re-kick it. Chuck Conklin, the dangerous threat for Irvington. Remember, we've already had one great run back for Palmiato. We're early in the first quarter. We do not have a time in our location of the quarter, which you will not have throughout the game here. So to go by estimates. It's taken at the 20-yard line. And out to about the 38 for one of the Irvington upmen, and that was Ryan Barella, who plays special teams, and Irvington will get things going. The quarterback for the Bulldogs, Billy Mentikidis, he does it all. Threw for over 100 yards, rushed for 57 in the first game. He's also their punter, field goal kicker, receives punts and kicks, and his second year at the helm, and he's a good one.
2-year starter, tri-captain of the team. He's an all-around player. He's a great athlete. In the spring, he plays on a tennis team.
First place from scrimmage for the Bulldogs, and Mentikidis has a handoff to Conklin. And 3 for Conklin, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and 7. Looking at our first beeline scoring drive, take the beeline to the goal line. Eastchester did. Took them 6 plays. Elton Lee's 5-yard run on 4th down, and when it counted, and 19 yards on the drive, but set up by the Palmiato returns. 7-0 Eagles. 2nd down for the Bulldogs. Mentikidis at the helm. Added the option. Got rid of it last minute. And Bianchini with Ray. And Ray, again, the option's going to continue to fool everybody today.
Well, see, that was a great play. Mentikidis really, at the last second, handed the ball off to Bianchini. Did a tremendous job running.
Get off the rope, get off the thing.
You see how quick the defensive guy comes right up on top of Mentikidis?
So that is a 1st down.
See what Eastchester's doing?
Yards.
They're playing assignment defense. One player has the quarterback, another player has the dive man, the other guy has the option man.
From the 43 of Eastchester, up the middle, good yardage. 8 for Bianchini, and he'll bring up a 2nd and short. Looking at the offense for the Bulldogs, you mentioned Chuck Conklin. He had 3 touchdowns against Dover. Bianchini just had that nice run there. Alfini, Billy Holt is the #1 receiver for Irvington. The offensive line is improving for the Bulldogs, anchored by Justin McLaughlin. 2nd and a long 2 from the Eagle 35. Eastchester leads 7-0. Offense is doing their thing. Alfani in motion. Mentikidis going far, and he had his receiver, but overthrown Billy Holt. So good thought that time by Mentikidis, but it didn't work out. The Eastchester defense, they play a front 4, and what a front 4. Cinquamani and Iasola on the left side, both 3-year starters. And the linebacker core anchored by Anthony Codio, who's also one of the captains for the Eagles, and Bobby Hunt, and they're strong there.
And Bobby Hunt is the heart of that defensive team. Inside linebacker, very tough, hungry, 3-year starter.
And on 3rd down, Mentikidis eaten up by junior John DiNardo. And that's the thing with the option. Sometimes you'll lose yardage, and John DiNardo in his face here.
You see John DiNardo coming right in there quickly. Nice technique, fundamentally sound, making the tackle. is only a junior, started defensive end as a freshman, a 3-year starter, and he's another one of those ball players that's really hungry. They went through the mill the last 2 years, they lost, and they really want to show this year that they are good and they want to have a great season.
Mantakitis to punt it on 4th down. Also the punter, Eastchester with nobody back. And let's see, it takes an Irvington bounce. Will go in the end zone.
Put that one in the end zone on the 2-inch line.
It is called Eastchester ball on the 1-inch line. And you'll never see, you can't see a better punt than that. Perfect. And it goes out of bounds. Thought it was going to go into the end zone, but what a punt by Mantakitis. Let's see if we could see this again. It looked like it went out of bounds on the side, and a good call by the official.
So you call the coffin corner, and executing this punt, what you want to do is you want the ball to bounce inside the 10 and hopefully to go out, maybe around the 5, but that ball went out right by the pylon, right there for their pylon, so that's really the 3-inch line.
And Eastchester in danger here because they can't afford to lose anything. They're on the goal line. And Lee bursts toward the 5. And he'll get 3 and it'll bring up a 2nd down. So a little bit of breathing room for the Eagles. Lee has been the workhorse so far. He's carried it 6 times of the 8 offensive plays.
Now, Elton Lee does long snaps. He snaps for the punts and the extra points. He's an honor student. He visited Columbia University, Johns Hopkins, and Georgetown. Still has to make a decision on which school he will attend.
He's out of the contest now. 2nd down, Palmiato going on the right side, and he'll get about 3. It'll bring up a 3rd down. And about 4.
And Eastchester mixing up the plays offensively. They run to the left side, they run to the right side. You have the right guard there, Bobby Hunt. Right tackle, Greg Skolaski. Skolaski's a junior, 2-year starter. He's an honor student. And then you have the tight end, Robert Cinquemani. So you really have to play the entire field, sideline to sideline, because you don't know where they're going to run. They can run well to the left as well to the right.
Eastchester leading 7-0 first quarter, 3rd and 5. Montesano hasn't thrown yet. Gives to Lee, and nothing as Lee is tackled by Dan Jardin, junior linebacker. Made a nice tackle, and the Bulldogs will get it back. So the defense came up large for Irvington that time, as Jardin made a nice play.
Boy, he made a great play right there. Beautiful. He's a linebacker, and to make a stick like that head on, you know, your head's up, your shoulder pads are there, boom, you meet the runner head on. Great job there by Jardin.
First punt for Eastchester. Moldari is the punter as well as the kicker. He can hit it. He averages about 27 of punt.
And he's going to have to watch it right here. Irvington may come with pressure, make him rush that punt, and possibly get a bad kickoff.
Irvington is going to have good field position, that's for sure. Mantakitis bobbles it. Now they must cover it. And Mantakitis picks it back up with the 45. And to his credit, he comes back with it 8 yards. So a near disaster. But Irvington will have it from the Eagle, 44.
You know, it's so important to catch that ball on the fly. If you catch the ball every time, whether it's a kickoff or a punt, you'll gain 100 yards a game. You can see right there, the ball was missed, and it goes 10, 15, 20 yards behind you, and if you tackle there, that's like a 20-yard loss.
47-yard punt from Moldari. Hey, D'Arco will take that every time, getting him out of the end zone situation. So Irvington with it from the Eagle, 44, 1st down, Mantakitis to throw. Conklin on the sideline. And great moves by Chuck Conklin, and he's close to a 1st down.
Chuck Conklin, he's a senior, 5'9", 170 pounds, tri-captain, 2-year starter. Last year he was honorable mention All-League, and he's an All-Section 1 wrestler. So he's a tough individual. He scored 3 touchdowns against Dover last week. And you can see how they're mixing it up.
Well, they do. They mix their offense, and that time they came out and threw a nice play. Mantakitis hit Conklin, patient quarterback.
And they're showing different looks, coming out in a tight slot right that time.
Bianchini, and he bursts for about 6 inside the Eagle 30, and Irvington's offense is starting to move pretty well.
And Bianchini's a tough individual. He's only a junior, 5'7", 140 pounds. Against Dover, he intercepted a pass, and he ran 85 yards for a touchdown. So, you know, he does have the speed. And what they're doing, they're attacking the outside perimeter of Eastchester, which surprises me because they're strong at the defensive ends. If I thought that they would be weak anywhere, it would be like running up the middle.
And Coach DiArco calls his second timeout, and we're still in quarter number 1 here. Again, we do not have a clock at our disposal. We assume it is there. Now we hear it's 3:03 left from our production truck. So it's 3:03 to go in the first. 7-0 Eastchester. And Ray, surprised that Eastchester's called a couple of timeouts already?
Well, not really, because I think what DiArco wants to do, you know, Irvington now has good field position. They're really going in. They're playing in their territory. You can see right here, dropping back. Good call. It's a screen to the right. They're mixing it up. That's on first down. You'd think they would run the ball or whatever. But here you can see an excellent run. Good job of running right there. Great call. Picks up. Very, very close. You know, trying to get another first down, but very importantly, they're getting close to the goal line, and Coach DiArco, okay, calls timeout, and he has to make the adjustments. The defensive end, you know, stay there, linebackers, watch your position. Whatever he sees, he wants to make a correction because he doesn't want to be in his backyard all afternoon.
And it's interesting that Bianchini has been the one to run the ball. He has over 30 yards rushing, but that time Conklin, the main man, they threw to. So it's a second down and 4 for Irvington, and good haul for Bianchini, but he'll be short. He'll get 2. He's tackled by Mauro Pincanini, left outside linebacker for the Eagles, and he'll bring up a 3rd and short.
Tackled by number 35.
Irvington in the white with a record of 1-0, a win over Dover. Eastchester also 1-0, win over Byram Hills. This is their first home game. This is Irvington's second 3rd down conversion chance. They're 0 for 1. Off the option. There's the problem with it. Bianchini fumbles. It is loose. And it goes out of bounds, so it'll be returned by Irvington, but we pain. But what a huge loss that is.
And that loss was because of the defensive man playing good assignment, coming right up, Mentakidis, and forcing him to pitch that ball out sooner than he wanted to. And it was a bad pitch and a great defensive play by Eastchester.
And that'll be a loss of 21 yards. And it's a 4th down, second punt for Mentakidis. What a punt the first time when it went out inside the 1. And this one not nearly as good. There will be no return because it went out of bounds. We'll see where it is spotted by Cliff Akins and his crew.
You know, you get the feeling right now that Irvington is a little bit afraid to punt the ball to those deep backs of Eastchester because of that good return at the beginning of the game. You know, it may happen again, so keep the ball away from them and kick the ball out of bounds.
That's just a 15-yard punt for Mentakidis, so after his sensational first one, that's just for 15. Eastchester with it on their 33, so they picked up some yardage since having it inside their 1. As we're late, quarter number 1, Eric Lubitz, Ray Karowski will be joined by Pete Arciello. Be on the sideline a little bit later. And Montesano's first pass is incomplete. Now, he hasn't completed a pass 0 for 3 against Byram Hills, so until he really gets 1 or 2, maybe he's a little bit nervous out there.
Yeah, that pass, he just threw the ball behind Will Ackerson, and Ackerson's tall. He's 6'3". You know, just get the ball up high or maybe a little bit in front of him, but it was behind him. So I think what Todd wants to do is, you know, he's going to have to get his feet wet, throw a couple, and then once he hits a couple of strikes, then he'll be off to a great start. But that has to happen, and coach has to have confidence in him and call some more, maybe 10 or 12 pass plays in this game.
And there, a counter play. I believe Lee got it, and he certainly did get it as he was sacked for a loss. Stephen Diostis in on that. Got 4 white jerseys in on that. And there's Elton. Over 100 yards last week. Had a couple nice runs early here, but now doesn't have much size, and that time Irvington sniffed out that play, right?
Well, he's 5'7" and 160 pounds. He is quick. He needs a little room. He needs a little gap to get through, and then you'll see him shake and bake.
Third down, and it is almost intercepted. Montesano telegraphed that one pretty good, and Dylan Kehoe was right there, and it went out of his hands. Wasn't expecting it, and Montesano 0 for 2, and that time Irvington blew a big opportunity there. Kehoe would almost had an interception in good place.
Yeah, a lot of those defensive players, what happens, they see that ball coming, they get so excited, it very rarely happens, and they don't concentrate on catching that ball first, and they want to run, and then you just cannot find the handle and you drop it.
From the 27, second punt for Eastchester. Mulderi's first one was 47 yards. And this one will not be nearly as good, but it does take an eagle bounce. And it's still going, and it's finally down at the 44. So it turns out not to be as bad as it first looked. A 29-yard punt for Eastchester. So Irvington will take over at their 44-yard line, and a tough game to really read. The offense has really started out on fire, and now the defenses are really making them work.
Well, that's what it's turning out to be, a defensive Donnybrook, and the Irvington's becoming very tough against a good, strong, powerful, experienced Eastchester offensive line, and that defense of Eastchester is very strong, and they're really holding Irvington.
Mantekitis added the option, and that time Conklin unable to get anything as Eastchester was right there.
Boy, Anthony Iasola was right in there tough. You can see that he is just really bursting through. He's 6'1", 235 pounds. He's agile and just getting right in there. You're going to have to block him, and if you can't block him one-on-one, then what you do, you're going to have to double-team that man.
Boy, and you can tell he's 235. He's got that big neck out there.
He's like a lean, mean human wrecking machine out there. He's also on a basketball team, and he can move. Believe me, he can go right, left, forward, backwards. He's very quick.
Conklin lost 1 second and 11. Mantekitis, plenty of time. Throws, and it's in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, John Alfini, the starting wingback, who was in first down territory, so instead he'll bring up third down.
And Robert Hunt was back there. He's the inside linebacker, and he was back there for like 15, 17 yards, so you can tell that he's hustling.
It's got to be very difficult for any defense to defend a good option, and there you see Bobby Hunt, another 3-year starter. When you have a lot of 3-year starters, it really helps your team experience-wise and your defense.
Well, not only that, but the 3-year starters for Eastchester have taken a beating the last 2 years, and they're tired of it. They want to win, and they're giving it everything they have.
Alfini in motion on a passing situation. Bianchini gets it, and he gets maybe 2 back to the original line of scrimmage. Eastchester had an excellent defensive series that time. And to bring up fourth down, another punting situation. The game is turning into a battle of the punts, and Iasola in on that one again.
And this is where you can get good field position. I mentioned this on the top of the program in my keys, the kicking game. Really get that ball down there, give you a good field position.
Mantekitis from the 45, good punt. And it's down at the 18.
At the Eastchester 19-yard line.
So a 37-yard punt for Mantekitis, who is now punted for 35, 15, and 37 in the first quarter. Eastchester will have the football from their 18, and as we start the second quarter, because we're through with 1 here at the Jarvis Bowl, Eagles, an early score, 7, Irvington, nothing.
Week number 4 hosts the Conference 3 matchup as the Pelham Pelicans take on the Ardsley Panthers. And you can catch all the action right here on TCI Sports.
Is there life after baseball? Welcome to Sports Heaven. The action lives on Sports Channel with Pierre Turgeon and the Islanders, Derek Coleman's Nets, Claude Lemieux and the Devils, local college action, plus thoroughbred racing. Heaven's never been so hot. Call your local cable company to order Sports Channel. A lot to get excited about.
Ray, the Eastchester cheerleaders certainly wanted to make sure they got on, as of course you work here, so you got them on. You could say
well,
you did.
you know, a lot of schools that I visit during the season, you know, you hear the talk that a lot of guys and everyone says that the most beautiful cheerleaders in Westchester County are from Eastchester.
Well, didn't you say at Rye that they were from Rye? I think you say this every week.
No, I have to tell you the truth. I mean, I work here, and they really are. They do a good job. And do they ever practice? Sometimes they practice longer and harder than a football team. They're out there practicing right after school, and they're there after the football team comes back up into the locker room after they practice.
And they certainly would like a winning season. Their team 1-0.
And Pat Handel, who is the cheerleading advisor, is doing a tremendous job. Takes them to competitions every year. And they do well. They always return with a trophy.
First down, second quarter is underway, and Palmiato breaks into the secondary, and he'll have a first down. Finally tackled by John Alfini and John Bergman. And well, Irvington, you know, when your tacklers are defensive halfbacks, you know, the offense has done well. First down for Palmiato.
Well, Palmiato's a tough individual. He's the old-fashioned type of a player. He comes to win. He doesn't come to play. He is hurt, and he's just shrugging it off, and he'll go with that pain and still give 100%.
At the shoulder, and there he is again. And he might have gone all the way if he didn't bang into his own man. Back-to-back gems from Palmiato is all the way to the 34 of Irvington.
Now he's a tough individual. Has a bad shoulder, let's not forget that. Look at that hold. Great blocking there. Great block there by 78. Look at the run. Boom, he bumps right into his own man. Still, he knocks his own man down. And still picking up yardage. He is one tough individual.
Banged into Will Ackerson. First down. This time it's Lee. Into the secondary. Good run. About 3 for Elton, and it'll bring up a second down. So nice runs for Palmiato at 79 yards last week. And what a game he's having already with that sensational kick return, which set up the first score. And that last one was for 35 yards for Palmiato.
And against Byram Hills, Palmiato scored a touchdown. Elton Lee scored a touchdown. And then again, right here, you have Elton Lee with a touchdown. And now Palmiato's looking for a touchdown. If the one scores, the other wants to score.
From the 29, second down for Eastchester. And that was Lee, I believe, carrying. No, that was number 6, John Patone, getting his first handoff for the day, and he picked up a yard, and it'll bring up third down.
John Patone is strong, man for man, maybe the strongest man out there in the field.
Great stats through one quarter, all defense, as you can see. Total yards 23-19 in favor of Irvington. The only reason 7 points on the board because of the first drive and that long kickoff return, 72 yards for Palmiato. And Lee will be short of the first down there. He'll get 3 or 4. And we'll bring up a fourth down situation, but I'm sure Eastchester will go for it here. Of course, Ray, I'm sorry, we mentioned the stats through one quarter, but they don't include the 2 runs by Palmiato on this drive, which are, of course, in the second quarter. And now you got to wonder, Eastchester with 4th and 3 from their 26. What kind of play you call? Do you throw it?
Well, I was watching Nick Dentato and ISO on that left side. They really fired out. They really got their man. They drove him back. And maybe if the coaches saw that, they may run this to the left side again, which they are.
Palmiato, I think he's going to be short. We'll see. Well, now maybe he did make it. Well, we'll see. It's going to be very close, and we're going to get a measurement. He needed 3. It's about what he got.
See, the left side did a good job of blocking the play before, and I'm sure the coaches saw that. They recognized it, and they called the play to the left side again. And it worked. They picked up the first down.
So they do, in fact, get the first down as Palmiato picks it up, and that is the second 4th down call of the day that Eastchester has gone for, and they've made it both times. So the Eagles coming up 7 right here. And from the 22, it's a first down, little counter to Lee. And he's swarmed by the Irvington defense. In on the tackle is Dylan Kehoe, also Justin McLaughlin, 77.
Oh, that was a trap play right there. Nick Dentato did a good job. He pulled, he trapped, he got his man. And I think if Elton Lee would have cut to the inside right off of Dentato's block, he may have picked up a lot more yardage or possibly go in for a touchdown. He just went around. He went around the outside of Dentato's block, and that's where he met 3 defenders from Irvington. Irvington's doing a great job defensively containing that outside perimeter.
From the 24, Montesano to throw, being rushed. And he is finally tackled. Didn't have a receiver open, and he is sacked.
Well, that's the best thing that he could do. The receiver's not open, just eat the ball. Don't throw it up for grabs for anyone. Eat it, take the loss. There's nothing wrong with that.
McLaughlin, Conklin in on it, as he will lose 6 yards, and will bring up a 3rd down. Irvington's defense coming up big again.
Yeah, Chuck Conklin, he's the left inside linebacker for Irvington. He's a tough individual. Against Dover Plains, he led the team in tackles. He has the speed, quickness, and he is a hitter.
From the 27, Eastchester 0 for 4 in 3rd down conversions. Montesano for the end zone. Intercepted.
Now that ball's in the end zone. It should come out to the 20.
John Alfini with the catch. And that play was a little timing pattern intended for Doug Sarasi, the flanker for the Eagles, who is a senior. He also kicks extra points, as you saw earlier. And really nothing Sarasi can do. That was just Alfini just
well.
right. Alfini made perfect coverage.
Played it well. Covered Sarasi like a blanket. He was there. Comes up with the interception. Concentrated that ball right into his hands. Knew what he was doing. Went into the momentum. The impetus took him into the end zone. So the ball comes out into the 20.
And that's his 3rd interception of the year. As we look at it one more time. Again, perfect. It looked like Alfini was on offense.
Yeah, he was great. And Sarasi, you have to give him credit. This is his 1st year coming out for football. He's a senior. He's starting. He loves the game. I talked to him earlier in the week, and he said he wished he would have gone out last year and even the year before.
Former soccer player. 1st and 10 from the 20. Mentakitis takes it himself. Goes wide, and he gets about 7 or 8 before he's knocked out of bounds. The tackle by Pincanini, senior linebacker for the Eagles. And again, just so many options for Mentakitis and the Irvington offense that time. Everyone thought he was going to pass, but he didn't. Hey, Pete Arciello's on the field, and let's go to Peter now. Pete?
Thanks, Eric. One thing that's very important in high school football is special teams. A lot of kids don't take it too seriously. At Eastchester, they take it very, very seriously. That's why John DiArco saw in the films that Irvington likes to bunch it up. They don't stay in lanes. He kicked it out in the opening kickoff, and they went almost 70 yards and set up the first score. Also on the punt team and on the punt return team, Eastchester is very, very strong.
Conklin takes the pitch, and he is short of the 1st down. Gets a couple, and will bring up a 3rd down, maybe 2. For the Bulldogs. And Ray, of course, you having coached here before, really stressed special teams, and John DiArco, who's in his 9th year, also 9 years assistant under you, he certainly has continued that as the Eagles special teams. You talked about it before the game in your keys.
Yeah, that was very interesting. The 2 years when I did not coach at Eastchester because of the ulcers I had, Coach John DiArco went over to coach at Irvington, and 1 year he was the head JV coach. The next year he was the assistant varsity coach, and that was in 1974. And at that time, Bill Dyer was the head JV coach. So it's really ironic that DiArco's the head coach here at Eastchester, Dyer, head coach of Irvington. They meet in 74. They were on the same team.
And there is DiArco and his team. He's out there in the middle of his crew talking to his troops. Irvington has called their first timeout. The Eagles have 1 left, Irvington 2 left. They have a 3rd and a long 1 at their 29-yard line. So certainly a situation where you want to get the 1st down here, otherwise you got to punt it back. So they're going to try to come up with some sort of play, and they have a lot to come up with.
Well, I'm surprised at Irvington, what they did the last 2 plays. They went to the outside. I think that's the strength of the Eastchester defense. What they have to do is, there's nothing wrong with going outside, to set up the inside game, but if they can get a couple of blocks in there in the middle, and then they can open it up.
There is 6 minutes, 30 seconds left now, we're told, in the 2nd quarter. From Eastchester's Jarvis Ball, it's Eastchester 7, Irvington nothing. If you just joined us, they scored on their very first possession, a 72-yard kickoff return by Mike Palmiotto, and eventually Elton Lee went in and scored the touchdown. Elton had a touchdown last the Eagles' first game against Byram Hills. And how about that win over Byram Hills, a team that they not only hadn't beaten but hadn't scored on in 6 years?
It was a great win, and a lot of people think that, oh, you know, they were lucky. Eastchester was lucky, or Byram Hills not that good, but that's not really true. Just because Eastchester beat Byram Hills, you can't say that Byram Hills is not that good. They are good. I think they're going to end up with a winning season. They're strong and are going to get stronger. Eastchester did a fantastic job. They were well prepared. They fired out. That's why I say that their offensive line is really strong, and they have to continue that on all afternoon and throughout the rest of the season.
Conklin diving over, and I think he has it. And that was a traditional 4th and inches type thing, but he needed a long yard, close to 2.
I don't think he got it.
And he dove up in the air right at the marker. It'll be very, very close, and surprising call. And now it is short, so it's 4th and about an inch. And now watch for the fake here. Conklin got about 2. Ball right on the 30, just a couple inches short. Mentakitis punts it, though. And a good punt, and it goes over Lee's head. And Lee finally picks it up at his 9-yard line and heads for the sideline. Gets to the 27, but flags on the play, maybe a clip.
Yeah, that's when it usually happens, when the back is way back there like Alan Lee was, and he's trying to come to get some running room. That's where the clips really happen, and you can hit the guys from the behind.
And Ray, one of your keys was Irvington's field position, and they've done it well, and that was a 60-yard punt, as Eastchester had to be cognizant of the fake. So what they did is they didn't have Lee back far enough, went over his head.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Eric, I don't know if Eastchester was looking for a fake there, because it's pretty dangerous. I don't think Dyer would have called a fake on that play, because if you don't make it, then you're really like sort of giving up 6 points. Your back is up against the wall. The best thing to do is get that ball out of there, hope that you have that kicking game, put them in a hole, and then the defense is doing a good job, and depend on your defense. If you're going to fake a punt like that and you're going to give it away, you're taking a strong gamble. If you don't make it, then you may give Eastchester 6 points. But get the ball out there. Have confidence in your defense. They're doing a good job.
Was a clip, so first penalty today, and it is against Eastchester. And on first down, good defense that time by the Bulldogs, as no gain for Eastchester.
You see Conklin get right in there on Todd Montesano, and he just burst right through there and got him immediately.
Palmiato ran with it, so it's no gain. Second down, 10 for Eastchester. Late second quarter, and the field position just changed like that. A 60-yard boot for Mentakitis, who's punted 4 times, and 3 of them have been very successful. You just have to watch they don't make a mistake here. And that's Palmiato, rather, Piccanini, and he'll get about 2. That's the first time that Mauro Piccanini has carried. He's another back.
Well, I'll tell you,
senior, and now there seems to be a fumble, and Irvington has it.
It looked like an Irvington player was going for the ball, and he grabbed it right out of Palmiato's hand.
And wow, we said they have to be cautious not to turn it over here, and that's exactly what they did. And DiArco will call their final timeout at a half, because he wants to talk to his defense now, because Irvington is in business from the 10-yard line. And let's see if we can pick it up again. Montesano, the quarterback, hands to Piccanini.
Piccanini right here has the ball. He's going through. Now that's where he's stymied, right there. He's stymied. He's being turned, twisted around. There's a ball player going for the ball. Now, whoever's in the middle of that pile has that ball. Came up with the ball right there. Looks like, is that 35? Looks like he comes up with the ball.
Well, it does look like 35. Only problem is there's no 35 on our roster. Which happens a lot of time. Players who will have their uniforms ripped or lost or whatever, and they'll use another one, so we're not really sure.
We don't have him on the roster. He did a great job of stealing the ball there from Piccanini, and we can't give him the credit.
Well,
we want to give him the credit. Did a great job, and especially right down there when they really need it. Now, here's where the pressure is really being placed on the defense of Eastchester. Can they rise to the occasion right here? This is the question mark.
Well, that a mistake. So from the 12-yard line, they will have it. So Irvington first and 10 from the 12, and now it is 85. It is Ryan Barella's. Ralph Romano, our statistician. Paul Curdy, our director in the trunk, both come to that conclusion. And Barella also made a nice play in special teams earlier. So here's a junior guy who doesn't start offense-defense with the big recovery. From the 12, Bulldogs look to get on the board. Conklin is in. Touchdown number 4 of the year. One play on the drive, building on momentum of the fumble recovery. And it's a 7-6 game.
You have to give a lot of credit there to Ryan Barella right there. When he got that ball, that really turned the momentum around. He really gave a little enthusiasm and zip to Irvington, and boy, they came out and they fired out that offensive line. They opened up that hole to the right side for Conklin to go in to score. And at right guard for Irvington, Jeremy Altman is a sophomore, 6 foot, 180 pounds. McLaughlin.
Extra point. Mentakitis is perfect. He does it all for them. Also kicks their extra points. And it is 7-7 as the Bulldogs have struck back.
And they came back on the right side. Right tackle, Justin McLaughlin. He's a senior, 5'10", 210 pounds, tri-captain, 3-year starter. Last year he was honorable mention all-league. He's a wrestler, and who better not to go to than just to run to the right side with those guys that are experienced. Look at that hole, wide open. Conklin right in there, good balance, agility, into the end zone for a score.
And Ray, what a block by
Kehoe,
James
the right
McKillop.
end, did a great job of blocking.
Yep.
And Kehoe's first year starting there.
And you saw 65 James McKillop just blow out someone from Eastchester, creating the hole as well. And there he is, Chuck Conklin. This is touchdown 4 for the year, as Irvington has tied it.
McKillop, James, is the center, number 65. He's a senior, 5'10", 165 pounds. Give that offensive line credit right there, firing out. And boy, this is a battle. This is like an old-fashioned country barn burner.
The difference has been the turnovers. Montesano's thrown an interception when Eastchester could have put some more points up on the board. And then there, the fumble by Piccanini, and that's going to be tough. It's his first carry of the day, and was stripped by Ryan Barella. So give Barella credit. And the Bulldogs have tied it up, and momentum right now might be their way. Elton Lee takes it at his 14. And he's over the 30 to the 35. And guess who made the tackle? Ryan Barella. Comes special teams again. Good run back, though, for Lee. So they'll have it from their own 37 with the Eagles.
Ryan Barella made that tackle, but he was just a little bit too high because Elton Lee lowered his shoulder, and he picked up about an extra 6-7 yards. You have to hit him low. You cannot tackle high. You have to stay low. Fire out. Explode into the ball carrier. Get your shoulder pads underneath the runner's shoulder pads.
Excellent football today. Eastchester, Irvington 7-7, and there, just a second penalty. It is on the defense, I believe, Jeremy Altman,
the sophomore.
56. Yes, moved, unless they say he was drawn, but I don't think so. Well, look at our Beeline scoring drive brought to you by the Beeline bus system. Make a beeline for the goal line. One play. Conklin 12 yards on the touchdown run, burst into the end zone thanks to a great offensive line. Mentakitis knotted it at 7. That's where we stand. Penalty was against Irvington and Altman, and that's tough starting 2 ways for Altman as a sophomore.
It's a great ball player. The coaches have a lot of confidence in him, and he's really coming through. And you know, you have to give Irvington a lot of credit, Eric, because they're only like 30 students larger than Bronxville. They would, I'm sure, rather be in that league instead of in with Eastchester and Edgemont.
And straight up the middle, but right there is Dan Jardin, 44, and Chris Giraldi, 7 linebackers. And Palmiato unable to get first down yardage. Did pick up a couple, and it'll bring up a 2nd down and 3. But boy, that big first down penalty makes it 1st and 5 and a lot easier. By the way, it's Irvington's first penalty of the game. Each team, which is 1. Playing like it's late in the season here. He plays very cool.
Yeah, you're right. Only one mistake here and there.
Pretty clean game. Elton Lee on the right fights ahead for the first down, and that was all Elton Lee. And for a guy just 5'7", 160, great second, third effort that time. Just keep moving, and he got the first down.
He's strong, he's powerful, you know, he lifts weights, he works out, he runs track, and the good thing that about him is when he runs, his legs are like pistons. He does not give up. He keeps driving and driving and driving. That's why the Irvington defensive players have to tackle him low. Cut him out, cut him down.
First down, number 5 for Eastchester. We're now told there's 4 minutes to go in half number 1, and we'll have the 4-minute warning. Don't forget to join me every week for Football Features, a 15-minute high school football show, which precedes our game of the week. Saturday at 8, Sunday at 10, and Tuesday at 8. And there it is, Football Features. On the first down, carry Elton Lee. Breaks past midfield, picks up another 4 to bring up second down. You know, it's funny, Irvington's got back into this game in the second quarter, but Ray, they have just 22 total yards here in the second quarter. But of course, that's what a big turnover in the wrong area will do.
That was a big play right there for Irvington, coming up with that fumble recovery. Actually, it wasn't dropped or it wasn't fumbled. It was just stolen. Pick this pocket.
It's a good defensive play.
Ryan Barella.
From the 47. That's Lee again. And he twists and turns for 3 more. And it'll bring up third down. Billy Holt, Dan Jardin on the tackle for the Bulldogs. And they have a nice aggressive defense. Bill Dyer doesn't want his team on the field too long, of course.
Well, what's happening now? Eastchester's using that power offensive football. Now they're running right, they're running left, boom, boom, boom. Now a nice play action, because you can see, you can feel the tension that Irvington has a feeling that they're going to run the ball. They're really playing it up tight and tough. Little play action, the receiver may be open.
3rd and 3, Anthony Iasola out of the game, holding his hand. We'll have to check on that. Eagles top lineman Lee fighting to the first down marker, runs in to number 49, Billy Holt, Dan Jardin. Also, it's question if he gets the first down or not. And he does have it, and that is a key play. So that means the Eagles will pretty much have it for the rest of the half. Another first down, and Elton Lee really runs a lot bigger than he is.
It looks like his knee was down, his knee touched before. He has great balance. His knee touches, he gets up so quickly, and he faked the officials out. I think his knee was down there. You know, Fred DiCarlo's making these offensive calls. Coach Luciano.
Tone is thrown for a loss, and again, it's Steven Diastis. We're calling his name a lot. Number 66, 6-foot senior, only 160, but he's a tough player.
Coach Luciano's up here on the rooftop of Eastchester High School and sending down plays to Fred DiCarlo, who's calling them in. And that play was a big disappointment for the coaches right there, to take a loss like that. Once you have momentum, you're driving, you're picking up 4 more yards to carry. That's good. You had enough time, you can take it in for a score, but you can't afford a loss of 5-10 yards.
That was 8 for Patone. Time running down. Final minute or so here of the half. Montesano across the field for Ackerson and underthrown. And even if they completed, that was well short of the first down marker. Not really what you want to do. You're not going to pick up anything in that situation. Montesano hasn't been able to get it done. Now 0 for 3 passing loss.
And the receivers are covered well by Irvington's defense. Let's give them credit. I mean, they're really covering guys like blankets.
Yeah, they had 2 right there. Even if Ackerson caught it, he was going right down. So it's a 3rd and long. And of course, we should say, you think of a quarterback in the professional ranked college, and he's got to throw the ball a lot. It's different in high school. Here's Montesano, fakes it. Nobody open. And he won it, and he's still on his feet. He's still on his feet. This is an incredible run. A first down, and what a run, Todd Montesano.
You see that? He doesn't have to throw the ball. He just goes back there, fakes it like he's going to throw, and then he can run the ball, pick up 10, 15, 20 yards. It's a hard man to bring down. Could not bring him down. Let's look at this again. This is a fantastic play. There's the pump. He fakes it. Look, 1 hit. Boom. Good bout. 2, 3 hits. 4 hits. 5. They can't bring him down. 6, 7, 8. And he's still going.
All the way to the 20. Great run. Palmiato. Mantakidis will stop, but not before he gets 4. What a run on the play before by Todd Montesano.
I see what they're going to have to do here right now. I don't know how much time is left, but I think it's pretty short. They may have to racehorse here, run a play, run audibles without huddling up because time is running out unless, well, right here we have an injury. The clock stops with that injury there for Irvington, number 77. That's Justin McLaughlin, the 3-year starter, tri-captain. You don't want to lose him.
And there's a
He's
look at
tough.
Todd, and really, what a run. I mean, and now Todd is a little bit maybe limping, and he goes to the sideline. Talk to Coach.
That's DiCarlo. Fred DiCarlo played ball here at Eastchester, was the most valuable player voted at the spring banquet.
We should tell you, Iasola back in the game for Eastchester, but McLaughlin now out for Irvington.
That's a big loss right there with McLaughlin out.
We're trying to get the time down on the field. Not much, but there the clock is started by Cliff Akins. Eastchester with it, 2nd down from the 15. Elton Lee runs
Nice
right
tackle.
up the middle, and Lee gets thrown back for no gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. And now you still got to wonder exactly how much time on that clock.
Boy, that was a beautiful tackle in there, and it looked like number 31 for Irvington.
4th down, 3rd down rather, and there's Palmiato, and he may have a 1st down.
Picks up the 1st down for Eastchester.
And where they mark it, he does. So 5 for Palmiato, a 1st down. Now they go without a huddle. You got to question how much time left, just probably a few seconds. Lee to the 5. Remember, Eastchester with no timeouts left.
31 for Irvington is Rob Bianini.
Palmiato toward the end zone, touchdown.
See what happens. Then Lee scores, and then Palmiato wants to score.
What a drive, though, for Eastchester.
And there's a flag on the field.
And this was coming back.
Personal foul number 73, unsportsmanlike, will be assessed on the kickoff, 15 yards.
Well, it is not coming back, so the touchdown stands. Iasola with the personal foul assessed on the kickoff, but meanwhile the Eagles take a 13-7 lead. And a beautiful 2-minute drive as Eastchester used the clock to perfection. Of course, we don't have the clock up here, which makes it difficult to do the perfect announcing job that we usually do.
But the officials, what they'll do, they'll tell the coach on the sideline, coach, you have 1 minute, 10 seconds, and then a play later, coach, you have...
Out on the play, we'll assess that foul on the 2nd half kickoff, okay?
The extra point, Doug Sarasi. And now we're told that is the final play of the 2nd quarter. So the penalty will be assessed on the kickoff. So they scored on the final play of the half. Extra point is up by Sarasi, and it is good. Barely.
That's Sarasi, 1st year out for football and doing a great job because he loves the game so much.
So there it is, 14-7. Eagles score in the final play of the 2nd quarter, and they lead it by a score of 14-7. We will come back in a moment, but before we leave, Pete Archiello will have a word. Well, we'll get this in the 2nd half, so we'll be back. It's 14-7 Eagles.
An overhead suspension of disbelief, plenty of trunk space, and an airbag standard with fully automatic transmission from cable to you. Get behind the wheel of the 92 Nick at Night. Good TV built to last.
It's 14-7 Eastchester, leading it by a touchdown over Irvington here at the half at the Jarvis Bowl. Eric Lubitz, Ray Krowski, Pete Archiello. and it's a good one so far as the Eagles scored in the final play of the first half. We don't have a clock available, so we weren't sure. We knew there were a few seconds to go, but on the final play from the 5-yard line, Coach DiArco elected to go for it, and he went to Mike Palmiotto. Eastchester already 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions in the game, and this wasn't 4th down, but it might as well have been. And Palmiotto here at the 5-yard line breaks away right there into the end zone. Only person with a chance at him, Ryan Barella, but Palmiotto goes in as the half ends, and a long drive, the longest by far of a half of short drive, 64 yards total. And there it is, the Beeline scoring drive, brought to you by the Beeline bus system. Make a beeline for the goal line. Palmiotto's first touchdown, and the Eagles with a 14-7 lead. Well, we'll come back and we'll have stats and the scoring summary for you for the first half from the Jarvis Bowl. Eastchester, a halftime leader over Irvington.
We take a lot of pride in what we do. We should, because what we do is pretty important. It's our job to see that you're comfortable, whether you're going to work, shopping, or anywhere else. We drive the buses for the Beeline system, and when it comes to traveling in Westchester, we want to give you the most pleasant ride possible. You probably don't realize how perfect the Beeline is for your lifestyle, with buses to just about anywhere you want to go. They're clean, safe, and convenient. Spare yourself from the expense and hassle of driving. Get to know the Beeline.
Our top story, business news.
Debbie,
What are you doing out there?
Nothing, Dad.
Have you made those copies yet?
I can't, Dad. The copy machine's broken.
Have you faxed that order to Acme Supply?
The fax machine is broken, too.
Doesn't anything work around here?
Yeah, the cable TV is working.
We're working hard to make sure your cable system's technical quality is grade A. TCI, we're taking television into tomorrow.
Back at the Jarvis Bowl, Eagles 14, Bulldogs 7 at the half. Chance to look at our first half scoring stats. And here we go. The stats for it look like this. First downs all in the favor of Eastchester, as they have 8 to Irvington's 2. Irvington did not get a first down in the second quarter, yet they scored. Eastchester with 7 of those first downs in quarter number 2. Yards rushing all in favor of Eastchester, 120 of them. In total, 61 for Palmiotto, 35 for Lee, 29 for Montesano. Made that great run before halftime. Yards passing, only 1 completed pass in the game. Mantakitis is 1 for 3. Montesano is 0 for 3 for Eastchester, as the total yards in favor of the Eagles. They have the only 2 turnovers, a fumble, which led to Irvington's score, and a Todd Montesano interception. The Eagles didn't waste much time getting things going. Mike Palmiotto returned the opening kick 72 yards, and a few plays later, running back mate Elton Lee scored from the 5-yard line on 4th down, and Eastchester had the first lead of the game. It stayed that way to the second quarter, when after a fumble which was caused by Ryan Barella of Irvington, Chuck Conklin went in the end zone for a 12-yard touchdown run. That knotted things at 7 into the last drive of quarter number 2. And you saw just moments ago, Mike Palmiotto plunged over from the 5-yard line on the half's final play, in Eastchester with the 14-7 lead after 2 quarters of play. When we come back, we'll kick off quarter number 3. This time, Irvington will get a chance to return the kick, and we'll be back with that next.
Word is out. The Mickey Mouse Club's gonna rock your house. Check with styling music videos. Oh yeah. Fresh news from the party. Peace. And funky new surprises every day. For sure. The MMC is always in the groove, so watch. Ta-da! And check out the fun. Only on the Disney Channel.
I dare you to join us.
About to start quarter number 3, Eastchester 14, Irvington 7. But first, let's go to Eastchester head coach John DiArco and our Pete Archiello.
Thanks, Eric. Coach, you got in late in the first half. Kids played well, but still a little sloppy.
Well, I give a lot of credit to Irvington. We were up 7-0, and they still were playing real tough. It almost was like we were losing 7-0. But the class and character came through at the end, right before the half.
I know 2 penalties. You asked the referees for numbers. They couldn't produce your numbers. I don't think you're too happy with them.
Well, usually the officials do a good job, but I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing something they're not. I spoke to them at halftime, and we're back on the right page.
Did you make any adjustments offensively or defensively for the second half?
No, not really. We're just coming out, and we're going to play some good, hard, tough Eastchester defense.
Okay, thank you, Coach. Eric, back to you.
All right, Peter. And Ray, interestingly enough, Eastchester really didn't really played all that badly defensively in the first half. If you look at Irvington's total yards, I mean, they've just had 45 total yards, so that's something that Eastchester really can't be too upset with.
No, the defense is, there's no problem there, whether it's Eastchester or Irvington. Both defenses are playing well. They're playing like mad dogs in the meat market. The point is the offense of Eastchester, I think the disappointment is that they're running the ball well and they can't have a play-action pass or a passing game because Todd Montesano's not really delivering the ball accurately there. So if that happens and it continues to happen in the second half, the defense of Irvington's going to jam up the running game of Eastchester and make it a lot harder for them to run the ball. So I think they're going to have to break open, you know, with a couple of passes. They're going to have to be completed, and you're going to have a balanced attack.
So Eastchester will get the ball now. If you're wondering why Eagles are kicking from their 25 instead of their 40, well, remember that 15-yard unsportsmanlike penalty against Iasola. And John was just talking to Pete down on the field, so they didn't know what number it is, but we're pretty sure they said it was number 73, Iasola.
Yeah, that's what the official said.
So this means Irvington should have some nice field position. From the 25-yard line, the kick is taken at the 28 by Mentakidis. And Mentakidis fights his way all the way up past midfield, so great field position for Irvington. They will start at the 48-yard line of Eastchester, and there is Mentakidis, and boy, Bill Dyer says about Mentakidis, he does everything. He punts, extra points, he's a quarterback, he's a leader of the defense, he receives kicks, he's basically drives the bus.
And he sells tickets for the game and sells the popcorn.
And his numbers offensively in the first half, 1 for 3, 10 yards. So really didn't throw it that much. Running wise, he actually ran for -18, but included in that was a -21 on a wild pitch, which was straight. First down, bursting ahead is Bianchini, and good yardage for Bianchini, who now has 39 yards rushing, leading the Bulldogs in that category. 2nd and 6 for Irvington, and already a big boost for the Bulldogs because of the great field position.
And in on that tackle for Eastchester was Dave Bernardini, doing a great job. And his brother Mark played here last year, was a great baseball player. He's playing for St. John's and starting as a defensive back for St. John's. 2 interceptions in the Iona College game.
Mentakidis just gets rid of it in time, and for not only this time, but throughout the first half, John DiNardo was just beating his man, and that time would have sacked Mentakidis, just had to throw it away. Good play by Mentakidis that time, put it on the ground, get rid of it on the ankles of Bianchini.
And it was a great pressure by John DiNardo. He's only a junior, 3-year starter, captain of the basketball team. And how many times do you see a captain junior year of a varsity basketball team? Usually the captains are seniors.
That's a good point. Ball's on the 44 of Eastchester. Irvington will have a 3rd and 6. And in the first half, Irvington did not complete a 3rd down conversion. They missed all 3 of theirs. As the Eagles defense fired up. Remember, played very well in the first half. Irvington's only score as a direct result of that fumble.
Well, they say that Eastchester's a second half team, so they're really going to be pumped up and come out and expecting to score 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Remember, Eastchester's only given up 7 points in 6 quarters so far this season. So not easy to get on the board. Mentakidis may be changing the play up at the last minute. And out of the option, Conklin is swarmed, and he'll lose a yard. And Anthony Codio, one of the captains, and Iasola make the hit.
Codio's a senior, 2-year starter. He's playing linebacker this game against Byram Hills. He was a down lineman. He'll do anything for the good of the team.
Also, Cinquemani in on that play. So the Bulldogs will punt. And Mantekitis, what a surprise, their punter, punted 4 times, average of 37 in the first half, including a 60-yard boot, and will have flags down, and this should go against the offense.
Ref, watch this sprint man moving. Count the 6 men in the backfield.
Oh, Coach DiArco, he wants the refs to watch the movement on the line. He wants to watch the 6 backs in the backfield. And watch the snap of the ball. Watch it deep, and watch this.
From midfield, and another good kick for Mantekitis, taken at the 14-yard line. And up to about the 22, where it'll be a 8-yard return and a 36-yard kick for Mantekitis, and that was Bernardini who brought it back. Also plays offense for the Eagles at flanker, and he's just a junior, Dave Bernardini.
Yeah, but Bernardini's a great ball player, and his brother Mark, and we have Todd Montesano.
And so he'll come onto the field as we have an Eagle injured on the play. Montesano 0 for 3 in the first half, also threw an interception, but his team's on top, and I think he's a type of guy that as long as his team wins, I think that's the main thing. And if he doesn't complete a pass all year and the team goes undefeated, I think he'll take that. And now we're trying to pick up the number on this Eagle. It looks like a left ankle from what we can tell.
And there's Coach Phil Bichetti. Look at him. Look. He lifts weights. He works out. He has shoulders like an aircraft carrier. He's a conditioning coach. Does a great job. Will Ackerson, number 33, with cramps there in the leg. He does a lot of running. Great basketball player.
And there's Billy Dyer, and we talked about him, the Irvington coach, and what a record. 61-36-1 in his 12th season. Took a couple years off, and really a gentleman, and he's leading his Bulldogs back. His wife and his family on the sidelines with him. Really brings them out into the game. Palmiato gets the call, and he gets ahead for 2. He had 61 yards rushing in the first half, so the Eagles up to the 24-yard line now, and they'll have a 2nd down and 8. And on the other side of the coin, John DiArco, I know his son's one of the water boys for Eastchester, so both coaches do it in the family thing with their teams, which you sort of got to do. Football's a big commitment.
Yeah, the water boys for Eastchester, John DiArco, Mark Palmiato, and John Bernardini. If those guys stay together, they're in like 6th grade, and they come up, they'll be league champs in football and basketball and baseball because they play all 3 sports, and they're tremendous athletes.
And that was just a basic right up the middle to the fullback.
And that's what Eastchester's doing. They're just running straight basic football. They're running dives, you know, just depending on that line to execute and make those blocks. And what's happening is that everyone is not making the blocks in that offensive line of Eastchester like they did against Byram Hills. It's sporadic blocking. One guy will have a good block, the other guy won't. It's like a breakdown.
29-yard line, 3rd down, a long 3. Montesano and the Eagles lead. And he has enough for the 1st down. Tackle made in the secondary. John Bergman, linebacker for the Bulldogs, but not before. 1st down yardage for Elton Lee. And Lee has done very well in the short yardage situations. 3rd and 3, 2nd and 5, and so on. So 1st down, Eastchester.
Now, Robert Cinquemani, he's the tight end, the 3-year starter. He's an honor student, member of the National Honor Society. Coach DiArco said, in quote, he's one of the most fundamentally sound ball players that I've ever coached. End of the quote.
Starts both ways for Eastchester.
Does a great job of blocking.
And Lee gets the call again. Good Irvington defense. Lee will get just a couple. Eastchester, though, what they're doing with the run approach is keeping Irvington's defense on the field a lot. And on a hot day like this, may start to wear down.
Now, what they're doing, they're running that straight offense. It's power, it's dives. They're running, which is great. They're picking up the yardage, but they have to mix it up. If they're picking up that 4 yards more to carry, use a little play action, fake it, and you got to throw the ball. You have to keep them off guard because Irvington's going to jam that line. Then it's going to be difficult for them to block and get some yardage.
Toward the end of the first half, Justin McLaughlin hurt for Irvington, but he's back in. Lee again, this time tries outside.
Good job, man.
And he'll pick up 4, maybe 5. Finally tackled by Dylan Kehoe for the Bulldogs, defensive halfback and a senior. And Lee continuing to get the calls. 10 second half yards for Elton, and now it's a 3rd and 4. Ball is over the 40. Call it the 41. We're getting to around the mid-3rd quarter point. Eastchester maintaining their 14-7 lead. That was the score at the half. A couple of 1-0 clubs. Patone will get a few, but not enough. And Patone hasn't had much success running the ball so far today. It's his 3rd carry. He's still minus yardage, and will bring up a 4th down.
Amazing thing about John Patone, he weighs about 175 pounds, but he can bench press 280 pounds. Strong individual, pound for pound, maybe the strongest man on the team.
And some valuable experience in the backfield along with Mauro Piccanini.
And John Patone's sister, Jennifer, is a cheerleader. So they have this football program all in the family.
This will be the 3rd Eastchester punt of the day. Jeff Muldari punted twice for 38-yard average in half number 1. And here we go. It's bobbled at the 25. Mantakidis recovers it, or does he? And he does, and a good play by Billy Mantakidis after Rob Bianchini fumbled the kick, and Eastchester has gained great field position back because of the miscue. And Mantakidis may be injured on that, and that would be a disastrous blow. Let's see if we can catch it.
You see, now this ball has to be caught right there. If you catch every ball like that, you'll gain 100 yards a game. Mantakidis right here. Now look, there's a little fumble. Now look, there's one. Boom, there's a good hit. Another guy coming on. Now you have 3-4 guys coming in there. Could have a bruised arm, shook up a little bit or whatever, but there's too many guys on one man.
It'll go as a 44-yard kick. Out of the option. Mantakidis fools no one. Tony Casal.
And Robert Hunt in there. Robert Hunt, the linebacker, 3-year starter, hard at defense. Tony Casal, tough. I mean, you see how they cover that outside perimeter well? They're strong, Eastchester on the outside. You're going to have to run inside, tackle to tackle. Look at this. Look at this. Mantakidis right there. Number 60, that looks like Robert Hunt coming in there.
Yep, Bobby Hunt first to get there. Made the nice tackle. 3-year senior starter. Both ways, and now it's 2nd and 17. Mantakidis this time pitches it, fumble, Bianchini, Eastchester football, I believe. It is at the 2-yard line of Irvington. They're going to unpile it. It looks like Eastchester has it. Eastchester does have it. Let's see who comes away with it. He's wearing 54 on his uniform, Anthony Codio.
That's the senior linebacker, co-captain of the team.
And that is dangerous to run the option like that inside your 10-yard line.
Close to the goal line, definitely, because, boy, if that defense is doing a good job, and they're one man on a quarterback, one man on a dive man, one man on a pitch man, and you do a good job, you make things happen, and boom, there was the fumble.
And a big play by Codio, and Eastchester smelling it here. 1st and goal, they call it the 3-yard line. Handoff, touchdown, Mike Palmiotto.
Now, Eastchester wasn't a power ride, it was a blast ride. It could have been a 6-hole blast. That's where you have the fullback and a halfback blocking, and the Palmiotto, boom, takes it right in for the score.
Touchdown number 2 for Palmiotto on the afternoon. Eastchester has scored 20 points for the first time this season. They lead it by a score of 20-7. And with the extra point, it is 21-7 is Doug Sarasi, and that's important. Now he is 5 for 5 on the season in extra points. And Ray one more time. The blocking did it here, and Palmiato got the score.
It's a power eye right. You have to, it's like an isolation. You know, the linemen take their blocks, man on man. You open up a hole. Palmiato, the senior co-captain, scoring his second touchdown of the afternoon and his third for the season. Don't forget, he was hurt in the Byram Hills game. He is a little hurt, injured in this game, but he is going with the pain. Can't lift his arm up all the way, but he'll give you 100%. He's one of those old-fashioned type ball players.
71 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Not playing like he has such a bad show. Don't forget a 72-yard kick return to start the game. So Eastchester has weathered the storm of Irvington having great field position to start the second half, and they lead it by a score of 21-7. And they're sending signals out to this tough League 3B. Don't forget about us, Briarcliff, Edgemont, Pleasantville, and Pelham. Real short kick, taken at the 35-yard line, and Irvington will take it to their 41. That was number 83, Alex Sandwhite, senior special teams player. So that's where Irvington will start, down a couple scores. The latest Eastchester scoring drive didn't take much. That's what a fumble will do inside the 5. One play, Palmiato, 3-yard touchdown run. Make a beeline for the goal line. Our beeline bus system scoring drive. Irvington will have it from their 40. First down and 10. Mentakidis at the helm, Alfini in motion. Bianchini fights his way for 3 yards. It'll bring up a second down. Now let's hit the field. Pete Archio.
Thanks, Eric. Bill Dyer just pulled both of his tailbacks over to the side after that last offensive series for Irvington, and he was not pleased. Twice they tried to run what they consider to be a spread option where the tailbacks follow out the quarterback. Both times the tailbacks lost their relationship with the quarterback, ran past the quarterback, and it's just a long quarterback sneak, which turns out to be nothing. Thanks. Back to you, Eric.
All right, Ray. And what Pete is saying is maybe a little too risky down there in their own red zone.
Well, they're running what you call a veer attack, and you have to have the distance, and you have to have the timing on that, and it wasn't executed properly.
Mentakidis has to get rid of it, and it's incomplete. And boy, he's going to dream about John DiNardo, who is in his face once again. And Irvington having trouble blocking the junior right end all day. Also, Bobby Hunt is in his face, and when you only have a second and a half to throw, not much you can do.
Well, you have DiNardo and Bobby Hunt, our 3-year starters. You know, they're really hungry. John DiNardo doing a great job there at defensive end. Don't forget, he started there as a freshman, so he's experienced and he's tough, and he's going to come. If he can smell the blood, he's going to go right for it.
We're going to go 99 on the punt. 99.
All right, so the Bulldogs now with a third down in about 7. They run out of the option, and looks like they may have lost a little confidence, and they fumble it again. Mentakidis picks it up, but he'll be short of the first down. And Irvington, who did not really make too many errors in the first half, has already made a bundle here in the third quarter.
Watch the fake. Run off the field.
4 for Mentakidis. It'll bring up a 4th down and a punting situation. And Ray, what happened here? Just a bad snap between McKillop and Mentakidis.
That's going to be difficult. It's a bad snap, and then he picks it up, and then he picks up extra yardage, but not enough for the first down. Now, see, it's going to be difficult right here to snap the ball out of bounds.
It is partially blocked.
Look at Spano.
And it still takes a great Irvington roll. And this may be the best all-time punt that is blocked.
Good job.
And it's all the way to the 23-yard line. Irvington lucked out. Right there, a 37-yard punt, despite the fact that it's being blocked, and that is Mentakidis' average, actually. Let's see if we could pick up the... No, we won't be able to see it again.
Well, I'll tell you, number 51, Joe Sicaranzo was up there close. I don't know if it was his hand that was on that punt. But, boy, I'll tell you, if it is, his hand is really sore because that ball still went about 20, 30 more yards.
And a lucky break for the Bulldogs. So from the 24, 1st and 10, Eagles, Montesano on the counter to Lee, and Lee is sacked, and that is number 44, Dan Jardin, playing excellent game at linebacker. But there is a hanky down, so we'll have to wait and see.
You know, coming off the field was
holding blue 50.
Mauro Picciani, so maybe he got a hand on that block punt.
Nick Dentato caught for holding, Eastchester's left guard, senior, 5'10", 190.
Bobby Hunt.
It's his first year starting.
Get in there.
I'm out, Blue.
Nick
Got
Dentato.
holding, Blue, 58.
Nick Dentato.
58, 5'8".
58, that's Nick Dentato. Number 58 on the holding. Dedicated to weight training all last year. Wanted to do well, have a great year his senior year.
So they'll take the penalty, so it'll be 10 yards against the Eagles. Eastchester was called a timeout, incidentally, at their first timeout. Ray, chance to look at League 3B, where both of these teams reside, and many say the toughest league in all of Section 1, top to bottom.
It's diabolic.
Of course, you have Pleasantville, which is the defending champion. They have the longest winning streak in the entire section in that league. Then you also have Briarcliff, a lot of people's favorite.
A perennial power.
And now Eastchester, if they hang on to win, they will go up to 2-0. But of course, this is total, but in the league, they haven't lost. Edgemont, which some people say will go undefeated.
Yeah, they look very good against Rye, but this is a very tough league.
Now, Irvington, should they lose here, would be 1-1. Ardsley down the bottom has a couple losses. Don't forget, Pelham, 1-1. They have lost to Nanuet so far. But they're tough. And what you've said is interesting. You think that the champion of this league will not go undefeated in the league.
I think he will have possibly one loss. I think to go undefeated, it's really going to be tough because as good as Edgemont looked against Rye, on any given afternoon, any of these teams can win. I mean, if Eastchester comes out of this game with the win, they are really going to be pumped. They're going to be psyched. 2 wins in a row starting off the season. I mean, you know, it makes these guys feel great. I mean, they're 3-year starters, a lot of them. And they lost before. They're hungry. I mean, they're going to come up into a good contest like Briarcliff and Pelham. They're going to play hard. They don't want to lose. They'll try to find a way to win, and anything can happen.
Okay, from the 14, it is 1st and 20 as we resume following the Eagle penalty and timeout. We have 2 wide outs on the right side, but back the handoff goes to Patone, who fights back for 5 of the 10 that he's lost. And Patone now is finally over, back in the positives in terms of yards gained. Picked up 5 there.
John Patone's very fast. He may be, Elton Lee, they say, is very quick off the ball. Both of them in a race. Elton Lee will get the jump the first couple of yards because he's quick, but John Patone in 40, 50, 60 yards will keep up with them step for step. So you have speed there in that backfield for Eastchester.
2nd and 15. Another play to Patone, and this time nothing, maybe a yard, as Irvington's aggressive defense is in there. We saw Billy Holt and Jeremy Altman make the tackle. Altman just a soft.
And Irvington is playing a great game. They're defensively, they're strong. Now, don't forget, Irvington is used to playing, you know, teams that their size, they're in other leagues. But now they're in with Eastchester, Pelham, Edgemont, and these schools are a lot larger. They're like 100, 120 students larger than Irvington. And they're hanging in there. They're tough. They're good kids. They're powerful. If they were in the other league with Bronxville and Dobbs and Croton and Valhalla, they might be battling out with Bronxville for the league championship.
Elton Lee bursts ahead past the original line of scrimmage, but it'll bring up about a 4th and 10. As Dan Jardin with yet another tackle. As we are in the final minute, we're now told of quarter number 3, probably able to get another play or so off. And it'll bring up 4th down for the Eagles from their 23-yard line, and a punting situation. Be the 4th punt of the day for Jeff Muldari. Averaging 40 on his first 3, which I'm sure John DiArco will take for the entire season. And this one's a little bit short. 1 hot. And Bianchini gets it. And he goes all the way inside the 30 to the 27. So beautiful return by Rob Bianchini all the way back to the 27-yard line. Irvington in good shape. And that time just not a good punt, no hang time, and Bianchini just made it happen.
Bianchini hit the outside. What you see, right, going to the sideline, using that as a blocker for him, but he runs out of sideline. You see him going right down the sideline, boom, boom, breaking tackles. Eastchester's not tackling low. He picks up some good yardage. It looked like there was a clip up there early on that play, but no.
Week number 4 hosts the Conference 3 matchup as the Pelham Pelicans take on the Ardsley Panthers. And you can catch all the action right here on TCI Sports.
Anybody can use one of People's Westchester's automated teller machines. Conveniently located throughout Westchester County and available around the clock. Well, almost anybody. People's Westchester Savings Bank. A nice bank.
All right, welcome back here to the Jarvis Bowl. About to set to go for quarter number 4. Eric Lubitz, Ray Karowski, Ralph Romano, our stat man with us up here. And a good game, Ray, and the Eagles have so far proved to be the better team.
It's a great defensive game if you like football, and that, you don't get a high-scoring game, but the defense is playing well.
All right, first down for Irvington. Mantakitis, and Conklin does not hang on. Nice coverage that time by Anthony Codio. And it'll be second down and 10 for the Bulldogs, who are in good field position. We may add at the 27-yard line of Eastchester, and that's because of that beautiful punt return and that short Eastchester punt. So second down now for the Bulldogs and 10. Need to get a score early here in the 4th if they have a chance to come back. Eagle defense stop them here. They're in good shape. They lead by a couple scores. Mantakitis has completed just one pass so far today. Rolls out, has time. Throws long, has a man for Holt. And it's incomplete. Billy Holt had a couple yards on Bernardini, who was back there covering, but the pass overthrown. And now 3rd and 10 for Irvington. Good rush again for Eastchester, which they've been doing all game long.
Yeah, but it's a tough play for Billy Mantakitis to execute that because he's a righty and he's rolling out to his left and he has to throw on the run. You know, it's very difficult. You know, you have to plant, set up, take a step in a direction you're going to throw, and then boom, you release the ball. It's difficult, but he almost pulled it off.
Bulldogs scored only once. That was in quarter number 2, following an Eagle fumble, a Chuck Conklin touchdown. That's the only time they've been able to get in the end zone. They trail by 14. 3rd and 10 on a beautiful sunny day here in Eastchester, New York. Passing situation once again. A lot of time this time. Mantakitis for Holt. Touchdown! And that is Dylan Kehoe, rather, not Holt, number 89. Wow, Irvington is back in it.
What a play. You talk about an accurate pass, well thrown. Kehoe going up, his first year starting, 6 foot, 160 pounds, really concentrating that ball into his hands, coming up with the reception and the touchdown. Well executed pass play. And it was a post pattern right down the middle. You think that would be dangerous because the guys are covered, but no, Kehoe got behind the defender, comes up with a fantastic play.
Billy Mantakitis with the touchdown pass, his first touchdown pass of the year, and just when it wasn't going his way, 1 for 7 passing, a beautiful pass, beautiful play to Dylan Kehoe, who he hasn't gone too much, and now do they go for 1 or 2, and looks like they're setting up for 1 anyway. They trail it 21-13. Mantakitis 1 for 1 today. Now they do fake it. Mantakitis being rushed, still has it, up for grabs, and it's dropped. Dropped by a wide open number 83, Alex Sandwhite, and Ray, you couldn't have been more open if you tried.
That's true.
And I'm sure he's going to hang his head because he was wide open. Sometimes you're so wide open you can't believe you're that far open. And Mantakitis with a great try that time, almost tackled, and he's got to be frustrated. It's 21-13, and now they're down 8.
Mantakitis had a lot of composure because he was almost down, regained his balance, found the receiver open, released the ball. It was there. There was money on that ball, and it was just dropped.
Well, Ray, you know, we talked about the touchdown. Let's look at the two-point conversion. This would have made it 21-15, meaning a down 6, which meaning a score and an extra point. It's good. And here's Mantakitis, gets rid of it.
The man's wide open.
Sandwhite.
Wide open right there. Just concentrate that ball. Look at it into your hands. Look it into your hands right there. It hit his hands, and right there, it's dropped. Ooh, what a disappointment. Ow.
Still, however, they are down 8, so a score and a two-point conversion would still get them a tie, but gutsy call that time by Bill Dyer, not saying we don't want to go for the tie. Let's try to make it. Let's go for the 2, cut it to 6.
Mantakitis almost made it happen.
21-13, a 27-yard touchdown pass. Elton Lee from his 10. He's quick. And he gets all the way out to the 36 before Ryan Barella, Mr. Special Teams, makes the tackle, and the Eagles will start from the 36 as we are barely into quarter number 4.
That touchdown pass was very beautiful, though. It just looked so nice. Right down the middle, boom. Kehoe going up for the reception and coming down in the end zone.
Dylan Kehoe, 6-foot senior end. And a lot of times they've been thrown to the halfbacks with the Holt. That time to Kehoe, ran a nice pattern, and the pass was, as we mentioned, on
nice
the mark.
Post pattern.
From the 36, 1st and 10 Eagles. Lead is shaved to 8 right now, and there's movement, I believe, in the offensive line. And Bernardini might have moved. And a false start. So that is penalty number 4 against the Eagles.
False start, blue.
Penalized for 40 yards. Irvington penalized just twice for 10 yards. Now Eastchester up just 8. Would love nothing more than to get an insurance score right now.
Oh, definitely.
Bernardini back in motion.
But the defense of Irvington very tenacious.
There's an option the other way, and Bernardini gets it, and that may have been a forward option.
Well played. Defensively, that was well played.
Conklin right there, and Eastchester giving Irvington a little bit of their own medicine with the option there. And he was behind the line of scrimmage, so theoretically, you can throw it forward. It doesn't really matter.
Definitely, yeah, you could throw it because you're behind the line of scrimmage.
Although if you drop it, it's not a fumble.
It's not a fumble. It has to be the man you're pitching it to has to be behind you, behind the quarterback. Then if he drops it, it's a fumble.
2nd and 10 for the Eagles. Lee bursts into the secondary, and there goes Elton Lee. There's his speed. Alfini knocks him down inside the 20.
See, Elton Lee is fast. There's no doubt about it. He is fast, but Alfini had a good angle of pursuit. Here's Elton Lee. Good speed. Now you're going to see number 11, Alfini, with the angle of pursuit. That's where he gets him. Does a great job. Well coached. Good angle of pursuit. Gets the fast Elton Lee for the tackle and a touchdown-saving tackle.
48 yards for Lee. And suddenly Eastchester knocking on the Bulldog door again. It's from the 17, Bernardini in motion. This is Palmiato. And he just slides his way for 5. And that was an effortless 5 yards that time. Just good blocking on the right side. And he went for 5. And it'll bring up 2nd and 5. Here's the Irvington scoring drive. 3 plays to start quarter number 4. Mantakitis with a beautiful touchdown pass to Dylan Kehoe from 27 yards. And you saw the missed 2-point conversion. The beeline system scoring drive make a beeline for the goal line. And if Irvington doesn't watch out, Eastchester will get a beeline scoring drive in the near future because they are deep in Irvington territory. And that time, good defense for Irvington. And number 66, Stephen Diastis with the tackle.
And again, Eastchester is just running basic, simple offense. They're just dives. You know, not even a trap or anything. They're just dives. Off tackle, off guard, just dives. And that's what you call power football. You know, they're depending on the offensive line to execute those blocks, drive the men out, and just dive it. Pick up 4 more yards.
Elton Lee, 21 carries, 96 yards. On the day, double fake. Bernardini gets it, but Mantakitis with a nice tackle. Eastchester will gain a couple. Good-looking play for Eastchester, but only problem is safety really meant
it looked good, but it was defended very well by the defense. It's very tough to get to the outside against Irvington because they have it covered like a blanket.
And Eastchester will call their second timeout of the second half. So Eagles, known for not saving their timeouts, call them at pivotal points, no matter where they are, first, third quarter, whatever. And now it's fourth down. Look at the stats through 3 quarters, all in favor of Eastchester. Rushing yards, Palmiato in the 70s, now with 76. Lee now with 96 as we're into the fourth quarter. Todd Montesano has not completed a pass. Only 1 pass completed in the first 3 quarters. Total yards in favor of the Eagles, and they have 2 of the game's 3 turnovers. Now they have a fourth down. And Ray, what are they talking about right here? They'd love nothing more to get in the end zone. Would they try a Doug Sarasi field goal? The ball's at the 10-yard line.
Here's a decision that has to be made. Coach DiArco was talking to a ball player, goes in the huddle, and now there's Coach DiCarlo in the huddle talking to the guys whatever we're going to do. Here's the fake right there. It's the option.
Fake to Palmiato.
Here's the pitch. But again, the outside is covered well by the defensive Irvington. You see how the ball player broke down? Made a nice tackle. Coach Fred DiCarlo was out there in the huddle talking to the team, made a call. Now it's up to them to execute the call.
Eastchester with all the members of the team on the varsity. No JV, no modified program at Eastchester. So anyone who plays football here is on the varsity.
Power right.
They go on fourth. Lee bursts ahead. And he will have the first down. They just needed 4. And Elton Lee, thanks to his offensive line, gets the first down, and the Eagles are on the 3-yard line.
Going to the right side, they have right guard Bobby Hunt, Greg Skolaski, the right tackle, and Robert Cinquamani, the right end. That's where the blocking comes, right there. You have to give the guys, the warriors in the pits and you know, the dog fighters, whatever you want to call them, in the trenches, they're the ones that deserve the credit.
And now there's a delay on the field for some reason. And we're not exactly sure why.
Oh, there's Dr. Boyer. Dr. Boyer's going out on the other side. There must be an injured player for Irvington.
Yes, and his son, of course, Jay Boyer, one of the all-time great football players at Eastchester about a decade ago.
A premier back.
And Ray, you're saying that Elton Lee reminds you
a little bit of Jay Boyer. You know, with those legs churning, moving all the time, picking up that extra yardage. They're about the same size also. Jay Boyer was on a track team. Elton Lee's on a track team.
And we're trying to see which player Boyer is working on. Try to get that for you. First and goal, meanwhile, on the field. Lee bangs off a tackle, and he's in for his second TD. Two for Palmiato, 2 for Lee. Now they're even, and Eastchester has a 27-13 lead.
The 2 backs that you have to stop, Palmiato, Elton Lee.
Sarasi perfect for the 4th time. It is 28-13 Eastchester. And Ray, we're now told it's Dylan Kehoe who is injured on the field for Irvington, who Dr. Boyer is working on the Irvington sideline. He, of course, caught that touchdown, but this is the latest touchdown. It's Elton Lee's second.
Elton Lee running strong right off to the right side. He doesn't stop. The legs are moving like pistons. He will not go down until he crosses the goal line. You see him going through right there, head down, boom, spinning. Always spin away from the resistance. Sees the goal line, dives right in.
And Pete Archiello is on the field.
Eric, I just wanted to tell you, Eastchester, this is playing right into John DiArco's hands. He's a smash-mouth, grinded-out football coach, and Eastchester's last 2 drives have been 64 and 65 yards, 13 plays and 8 plays respectively. That's how DiArco likes it.
Now, that's how any coach likes it when your offense is on the field, giving your defense some time to not actually sit in the field, although, of course, plenty of people play both ways, but there are some who don't.
And you're not making a mistake also. You know, you're not fumbling, you're not going off sides. It's mistake-free. Those are great drives. Any coach would be proud of that.
Kickoff is a short one. It's touched, so ball is loose right now. And it's picked up for the second time by number 83, Alex Sandwhite. He'll hang on at the 32-yard line where Irvington will start. Now for Eastchester, Ray, 28 points. I can't think of a time in the 90s where they've scored as much as 28 points in a football game. We'll look at the latest beeline bus system scoring drive, make a beeline for the goal line. Eastchester did it, 7 plays. They went 67 yards in all, and the topper was Elton Lee's 3-yard run. Of course, Lee had the big run on the drive, the 48-yard scamper. Almost had a touchdown if not for John Alfini's touchdown-saving tackle. So 1st and 10, Irvington. And now the work cut out for them with 7.5 to go. Alfini in motion, Mentakitis rolling, being rushed, and this could be intercepted, but it's not. It's incomplete. That pass intended for number 6 of Irvington, Rob Masha, who has seen limited duty today offensively. And he'll bring up a 2nd down, and anytime you're trying to come from behind, very difficult, because both Eastchester knows what Irvington wants to do. They got to get a couple scores, trailing by 15.
Out, one fire.
And as we talk about Eastchester scoring the 28, I mean, it's been a very defensive team. They haven't won many games in the decade here in the 90s, and this is 28 points. This could be their most points they've scored in a decade. Don't have.
This is going to be a good year for them also, and all started off with that victory at Byram Hills that really psyched the team up. They have a good attitude. They had a great practice all week. They had a pep rally last night. They're really pumped, and they want to continue it on into next week because they have Briarcliff.
Draw play to Conklin, and Conklin fighting and fighting, and they'll end up with a couple. Make it 3. It'll bring up a 3rd down. We haven't seen the true Chuck Conklin today. Hasn't really been able to get going. Hasn't had, well, the big run, had the 12-yard touchdown for Irvington's only score. Other than that, really hasn't been much of a factor. Eastchester's defense is handling him okay. And that's certainly a difference in this one. For the Bulldogs now, 3rd down, need to get to the 43 rather, for the 1st down.
It's very difficult now for Irvington. You know, they're having a hard time running up the middle, and now it's difficult for them going to the outside.
And this could be intercepted. It is Patone. And he'll go down on his knee at the 48 of Eastchester. And now some tempers flaring here at the line of scrimmage. But Eastchester has picked off Mentakitis for the first time, and they're beginning to feel it now here in Eastchester.
Yeah, John Patone back there with the interception does a great job. Now, he is very fast. Any mistakes that these guys make in a defensive backfield, they can recover and make up for it with their speed. You see John Patone coming up with this interception right here. Good speed, nice catch. Right there, his knee hits, he's down. He cannot advance the ball. The official's right there. Good call for him to pick that up. Doug Sarasi's out there at safety. He has good speed.
Eastchester has called their final timeout. Wait, let's look at the Eagles' schedule, because now they have a 1 win in the bag over Byram Hills. Looks like they're going to hang on here against Irvington, so they're on their way to being 2-0. We mentioned League 3B being what it is. There's just no breather on the Eagles' schedule. Possibly Ardsley is a game they should be favored in, but after that, on the road against Briarcliff right there.
Now, Briarcliff today is playing Pelham. If they come through with the win, they'll be ranked #1 in Class C, undefeated against Eastchester.
And of course,
that's going to be some game.
One of the Eagles' rivals, Pelham, the following week. That played at Memorial Field. Now, we mentioned Ardsley, a little bit rebuilding program going on down there. Incidentally, you'll be able to see that Ardsley-Pelham game next week on Cable 3. And then after Ardsley, Pleasantville, and then on the road at Edgemont and Tuckahoe. Wow, what a schedule.
Yeah, it's good. It's tough. And right now, Briarcliff and Pelham, that's going to be an exciting game and a great game, because Pelham is strong and powerful. And they lost to Nanuet. Nanuet has the largest line. They're very good. I think they're going to win the league in their division. And you have strong Edgemont, Briarcliff. So on any given day, any of these teams can knock another team off.
I'll tell you, Eastchester, though, has used all their timeouts and come a close game. You may want to be saving the timeouts toward the end of a half or a game. And the handoff went to Patone. First man through, and he picked up 6. That's the best run of the day for Patone, who's coming alive with that interception. Nice run there by midfield, and it'll be second down for Eastchester. Also, another thing with this diabolical schedule and league that they play in, they haven't been behind yet this season, but when you're behind, you may have to throw a little more. Now, Montesano hasn't yet to complete a pass this season.
I would say that's a weakness right now. They just haven't established any kind of a passing game because the other teams are going to really jam up against Palmiato and Elton Lee.
And Piccanini with a nice run. He's tripped up in the backfield by Rob Bianchini after picking up a few.
Oh, looks like he's coming up with a cramp there.
And Mauro Pincanini, not the first person to get one.
Oh, they hurt. They hurt. The muscle just jumps right up.
Now, why cramps on a day like today?
Well, you're using up all the fluids. It's not being retained. You have to drink a lot of fluids before the game, a little extra salt, drink fluid at halftime. Don't forget, it's hot. It's 80 degrees. They have 17, 18 pounds of equipment on them, so they're really perspiring, sweating, and the fluids aren't being retained. And boom, you get the muscle cramps.
John DeArcos with a win here would go 36-35-1 in his career as head coach. And Patone needed to. Looks like he got it. We'll have to see.
As I practiced yesterday, it was a beautiful afternoon. I was sitting there. Coach DeArco comes up to me. I was on his side. He says, "Don't you miss this being out here? It's so nice." I said, "Yeah, it's really great. The weather I miss, but I'll tell you what I don't miss. I don't miss going hoarse because you're going to be hoarse in about 10 minutes. All he did for about 2.5 hours was just yell, 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 yell. Not really yelling, but like raising his voice.
And before his 9 years as coach here was the assistant under you here at Eastchester. And you coached 82 games here.
Yeah. And this is my 100th football game covering for Cable 3. And it's so ironic because I work at Eastchester and it's an Eastchester game.
Now,
100th game.
What's ironic, now people start to remember you more as Ray the announcer, as Ray the coach. And what's your record as an announcer? That's what I want to know.
100-0-0.
Second and 7 for the Eagles. And they now have a new quarterback. Sigan Patone is in for the score.
You see, Patone is fast. 60, 80, 100-yard dash race. He'll stay up there step with step with Elton Lee. And you can see the speed that he put on there. He turned on the burners.
But Ray, there's flags down, and
oh, this is good.
This will not count.
Okay, white captain.
Well,
Come. All right.
Offside Eagles.
3, 4, 5. Oh, good call, Jimmy. There's a slot back, right?
He's a slot back. There's the snap.
And way in the bottom of the screen, couldn't pick up the number. Somebody was moving. And poor Patone, here's a guy who's not a starter behind Palmiato and Lee. Doesn't get a chance to run all that much. Playing a good game, but there's a big 37-yard touchdown wiped out.
He displayed a burst of speed right there going around the right end. Great run.
There is the score from the Jarvis Bowl. Eastchester 28-13. Jeff Moldore is the brand new quarterback. He's a sophomore, backup for Eastchester, number 17, just 5'8", 150. Have a couple years to beef up.
Gonna have to get in on a weight program.
He also kicks off and has been the Eagle punter today. And he hands it off right up the middle. And inside the 25 to about the 21-yard line goes number 44 for Eastchester as their second string is in. As Anthony Spada, another sophomore, and excellent running right there as he picks up 16.
Anthony Spada is 5'9", 165 pounds, but he is solid. He's strong, and for only a sophomore, he has a great future ahead of him.
Remember, no JV or modified, so anyone playing football at Eastchester on the varsity. Piccanini. And Morrow picks up 7. And Eastchester's second team, if you will, doing the job. Certainly Piccanini with the nice run there, as you still have some of the first-string linemen in.
Now you have Charlie Lancellato. He's in there. Nice block on a play.
As we are under 3 minutes to play. The executive producer of TCI's Cable 3 Sports is Nancy Green Strauss. Today's game being directed by Paul Curdio, produced by Chris Chulo and myself, engineered by Gerard Miller. And there's John Patone as he picks up 4. And DiArco's got to be very happy with the depth right now on his backfield, in his backfield.
I think the backfield's solid. There's no question about it. There's good speed, there's good backup, you have experience, and you have depth. The only thing that I think Coach DiArco might be disappointed with is with the line play. They were very good against Byram Hills, and they did not continue it this afternoon against Irvington, especially in the first half. The line was inconsistent. There were some good blocks, and some people were missing their blocks.
Moldari would love nothing more than to lead his team in the end zone. Patone all the way outside to the left, and that time he was stopped. Nice defensive play by number 7, Chris Giraldi.
Taken down by number 83, Shade White.
Also in on the tackle, Alex Sandwhite, number 83 for the Bulldogs. So that'll be a loss, and it'll bring up a 4th down.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they hand the ball to John Patone again, because he did have a touchdown, was called back, and they want him to get a touchdown. Let's see if it goes to Patone.
About 2 minutes to go from the Jarvis Bowl. Eastchester on their way to their second win in as many tries this season. Patone has a first down. He goes and he has a touchdown.
Just as I thought, they would go to him.
And there are no flags down on this play as John Patone is in the end zone. It is 34-13 Eastchester.
Eastchester solid in the backfield. They have good speed, depth, experience.
And they've scored in every quarter of this football.
Like I said, the second half is Eastchester all the time in every game. No matter what the score is at halftime.
Sarasi makes his 5th consecutive extra point of the contest, and it is 35-13 Eastchester. Is the one that counted for John Patone.
John Patone right here. It's a power eye right. He's like going off tackle, and then boom, the last second he skirts to the outside. He has the speed. He has enough room. The sideline's there. Turns on a little burst there just to get across the goal line for 6.
Good block by Robert Cinquemani, the tight end, at the last minute there. Couple that with Patone's quick burst to the outside, and you have the 5th Eastchester touchdown. As you hear the Eagle Band in the background, as they are quite happy here. It's been a while since Eastchester's had a winning football program here, and now they're off to the 2-0 start, and we'll see what happens as they get into the meat of this very difficult schedule for Irvington. 1 up, 1 down they will be, and they have a remarkable schedule as well, being in the same league.
Well, a team that sticks together, and they have this impetus that they're really, you know, winning, and they have a good positive attitude, and they'll find a way to win. When they get into a struggle, they'll be off to a great start, even if it's in the meat of the season.
Bianchini takes it, will shift upfield and get himself over the 30 to the 33, where they'll get going. And this is the latest Eastchester scoring drive. Make a beeline for the goal line. The Beeline Bus System scoring drive. Here it is, 7 plays for Eastchester. They went half the field, and Patone finally made it in the end zone from the 13-yard line. His first touchdown of the game. And Eastchester sitting pretty. A lot of second stringers in right now for both teams.
Ian Crowley's in there playing defensive end, number 48. Yesterday I practiced watching him. Boy, he was really coming hard, making good hits against the first offensive team of Eastchester.
There are just 13 seconds remaining. Now we hear from the field. Very difficult without a clock, as you saw what happened at the end of quarter number 2 from our perspective. And both coaches still coaching. Bill Dyer talking to his players. Called the timeout. John DiArco talking to his defense. Great. Not too tough to tell who won from that shot.
Yeah, the cheerleaders are very excited that the pep rally, you know, they really give the impetus of that enthusiasm, that school spirit.
The new quarterback is number 12, John Bergman.
You know, in those cheerleaders, you have Judith Lynn and Tori Spano, who are great pitchers on the softball team. Between the two of them, after they graduate, they'll probably have 100 wins.
Oh, there it is. Anthony Iasola as Codio, one of the captains, as the Eagles.
I'm for Eagles. Go. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know if anyone should look forward to Briarcliff, but they are next on Eastchester's schedule next week at Briarcliff. So, the final score here from the Jarvis Bowl. The Eastchester Eagles defeat the Irvington Bulldogs 35-13. We'll come back with our post-game report next.
Nick at Night as a public